To me, I'm the one person on this planet who's qualified to date a younger female because society owes me that. Everyone else was outside the divine order. Again, everyone else was outside the divine order while scrambling to restore the divine order. So they can't say, hey, I missed out on those years too. You missed out on those years while you were doing the wrong thing. I got shunned by women as Christ while doing the right thing, while people like you who don't gather with me, therefore you scatter, who didn't gather with me and still don't gather with me, therefore you scatter. Okay, didn't help me set the record straight and didn't give me the things I needed in order to find true love. And I'm even called the bridegroom. The bridegroom. For society to keep me from an attractive female, a bunch of attractive females submitting for me to choose one is very low. Very low. God said I'm going to give the human race one time in all of human history to do the pinnacle of God's image justice, the pinnacle of all the kings of kings justice. Okay, if you look at it in terms of there's a line of king of kings, right? And I'm the pinnacle as the top martial arts ever possible, right? Martial is marital scramble, the top expression of God, but what it has to do with, because when you look at it, the simple answer is the Bible isn't entirely wrong to say that Christ was crucified 2,000 years ago, but not, who, what, when, where, how, why. Christ was crucified in Africa, but in a sense outside of Africa by the Roman Empire, which symbolizes Babylon's system, symbolizes the West, symbolizes the rest of the world. It's a big trade center, what have you. Because figuratively speaking, they crucified the idea of the most righteous person ever being in charge. And they said things like, we have no king but Caesar, and garbage like that. And they're, following Herod and so on and so forth. So it's very complicated what exactly it's getting at, because there's a lot of things it could be getting at. The Bible has a lot of, it's like Proverbs. There's a lot of ways to interpret, a lot of things you can connect it to. As long as it's true, it's true. So here we see that I'm the top martial arts ever possible. I'm the point in history where God said, look, if you do not honor this person, the human race outside the divine order is complete filth, far worse than before, far worse. And there will be no hope for them in the future. Their marriages will be complete garbage. And the governing class knows it. It's impossible to miss. That's why they worship El, whose counterpart is Saturn, who's a play on words for Satan, right? The festival of Saturnalia, Christmas. And also Cronus, who's said to eat his own children, whose name is like Kronos, is the deity of time. And Saturn connects to time because it has to do with the harvest, whose consort is Rhea, whose name is a play on words for Hera, as is the Asherah. The Asherah posed in the Bible as Hera. And Rhea is said to be raped by Mars, their deity of war, their deity of Western martial arts, Roman martial arts, whatever. And there's a lot of other connections too, but to make a long story short, Cronus is said to devour the life worth of his children, especially and including their marriages and the quality of life and the quality of their offspring. That's how deep it goes. And the 8 billion people on the planet, representing every race you can imagine, so to speak, were alive and are alive right now while this is playing out. Their fate is extremely sealed. Extremely sealed. People must rally to me and obey God through me before my flesh dies in a timely fashion for them to go to heaven. That's where we're at now. And I even chastised Martin Luther King's daughter, and I now chastise their whole family if they don't rally and obey God through me, because they're misleading you as some of the most believable people on the planet. Okay, nowhere near as believable as I am, because I'm telling the truth and I am Christ. But as they're up there somewhere in terms of being believable. And though they seem like nice people, and it hurts me to some degree to have to go there, because Martin Luther King's work has completely been destroyed by the enemies of God, all but the part of him that was loyal to me. The part of him that was trying to get America to do the right thing, the world, his dream, all this, it's just completely ruined. So it saddens me, and it saddens me to, it messes with my head a little bit to bring up his family. But I even chastise them on this issue. On this issue, I'll chastise everybody else that ever lived and ever will live and is alive right now, put together. Okay, you are not to reproduce. You're not to give people false hope. And I will increase the eternal punishment of anybody who says otherwise. Anybody.